Boyfriend 25M constantly jokes around about knocking me up and locking me in 21F. Me and my boyfriend have only been dating now for about 2 months. Only recently we have become sexually active. Before this I made sure he tested himself and so did I. We always use protection, but one time he didn't and I got extremely upset because I did not consent to that. Anyways, afterward we had to go buy Plan B. We got into an argument because he pushed my boundaries, which I strictly told him I did not want to have sex without protection. I took some time away from him and we ended up talking again. He apologized, but I told him he strictly always has to use protection. Recently, he's been saying he doesn't like using condoms. And what alarmed me the most is that he keeps saying, if I would have met you sooner I would have knocked you up to lock you in. He also says he wouldn't mind getting me pregnant, and he's been trying to have sex without protection as well. He only uses it when I tell him to. I didn't want to come on here and say this, but what do I do? I know I'm young, I'm only 21, still unexperienced with dating. I'm planning on breaking up with him. I didn't want to come on here and say this because people tend to be judgmental. But I am on BC. Stop having sex and dump his rotten ass. He's going to poke holes in a condom. I'm planning on breaking up with him. Put your plan into action. He isn't joking, he's declaring intent. After 2 months? Yikes. JFC, you're supposed to be in the honeymoon phase, where everything is lovey-dovey with a cherry on top. If he is behaving this worryingly so early in the relationship, it won't get any better. I'd get out before he puts his plan into action. He had sex with you without consent, i.e. with no protection. There is a word for that, 4 letters, R_P_. My boyfriend M31 doesn't like when I go clubbing with friends F26. I have a deep passion for music and relish the joy of dancing with my friends. The sole reason I have ever visited a club is to have a good time with my girlfriends. My partner fails to comprehend this and disapproves of me being in what he perceives as a promiscuous atmosphere. Recently, we had a heated argument because he didn't approve of me returning home late. It's worth mentioning that I go clubbing only a few times a year, not on a regular basis. I'm perplexed as to how I can make him realize that my intention is to enjoy myself and nothing else. It's unlikely you can. People typically fall into 2 categories for this topic. Don't mind and approve going out with friends always will have an issue of it. A couple of questions to ask yourself is this incompatibility and reoccurring issue something you want long-term? Would you look back on your life and regret not enjoying time with your friends for the sake of settling your partner's needs? This is really, really hard. You can't force him to be comfortable with it, and he can't force you to not go. The way you tell it, he calls the situation promiscuous, like everyone who goes to a club is there to mess around. Is it that he doesn't trust you? Or does he not trust the people around you at the club? On the one hand, you're 26 and have every right to go and do what you want to do. You have an interest and want to explore it, and have no intention of it blowing up your relationship. So go, feel free to do that. On the other hand, you're 26 and know very well that clubbing and coming home at 6 a.m. is frequently associated with hooking up. At 31 I would have not dated you seriously. So do what you want. Your intention matters, but people go out with the intention of innocent fun and something else happens. People also need to understand that they own the perception of their behavior as much as they own the behavior itself. You two are clearly just in 2 different places. I stopped dating someone who had issues with me clubbing. I didn't go often, but he hated it, so we weren't compatible. He didn't understand that I went to dance with the girls and have fun. I took him with us one time and his version of dancing was just sex without clothes. It made sense why he had such an issue with dancing in clubs. But what didn't make sense was how he claimed to trust me, but not the men in the club. I'm the person he didn't trust. If he couldn't trust men, what about the ones who flirt during the day? Have you ever sat up by yourself imagining what your partner is doing at the club while they are drinking and dancing with other people? It's not a good feeling. Edit. I know all the club girls will attack me for this. Bring the hate. But please think about what I said too. I, 31 female, got given an ultimatum. It was either my boyfriend, 31 male, or my dog. I chose my dog. Throwaway account for reasons. So basically me, 31 female, and my boyfriend, 31 male, have been together 4 years and got made homeless a few months ago. Our landlord decided to sell the house and gave us the minimum notice by law. Me and my boyfriend were unable to find somewhere in the time frame that takes dogs, so we are currently staying at my friend's. The problem is my dog. We both had dogs when we got together. His dog is very quiet at calm and has a heart condition, so doesn't get giddy very often. Whereas mine is an American Bulldog cross who has tons of personality and is very energetic. I will admit I babied him when I first got him, since I had just been told I can't have children, and I did treat him more like my baby than I should have, especially as a puppy. A lot of bad habits are gone now, but he's still a very energetic dog. For example, whenever someone walks into the house he grabs his toys and starts making noises to show them. He doesn't jump up or anything, he just makes this excited noise. I personally find it adorable, but my boyfriend doesn't and gets annoyed at him for even the smallest thing, like going up to people when they come back in the room or chewing his toys too loudly. I do everything for both dogs and my friends that we are staying at, love him and his big personality. Their only issue is his separation anxiety has got worse since we have moved out of our home, which is understandable. And my dog is 10 and has been there through my mental health breakdowns and basically saved my life. So I feel like some of his anxiety is since he knows I've not been okay recently. My boyfriend is not willing to take time to train him, so he only listens to me as my boyfriend just shouts at him, which gets my boyfriend more angry at my dog since he won't listen to him. Last night my boyfriend was shouting at my dog and went to go kick him, so I told him if he ever kicks my dog we are done, and he got angry for me always protecting my dog and called my dog a baby and a CNT and said he's a pathetic dog since he always runs to me. He told me it's either me or the dog. So I said the dog straight away, I didn't even think about it. I've had calls from his friends telling me that I can't put a dog above a person, and that a dog isn't worth it. I greatly disagree, as to me he's family. But they are telling me I'm splitting up the family over a dog, and I'm extremely selfish for that, as me and his daughter, 13, are extremely close and she's been told that a dog is more important to me than her. So I've had her mum contact me too saying I'm selfish. I don't know what to do. But I feel I can't abandon my dog that's literally saved my life. Edit. I didn't tell my stepdaughter she's less important. Other people have done, and she won't talk to me, so I can explain that she's still important to me and can see me whenever she wants. TBH, I would end the relationship based on how he treats your dog alone. It shows a lack of patience, cold-heartedness, ill-tempered, selfishness, toxicity, and abuse. Anyone who kicks my pet would be deleted from my life. I don't care about our history. Don't let them try and twist it where you're the bad person in the situation. I am not a fan of his mom, plus friends even came to his rescue and is starting to bash you. Seems like that type of toxic behavior surrounds him. You're not obligated to date him for life. Calls pets a baby, CNT, and pathetic. Can't imagine the rest of his personality. Must be a treat of a person. I stand by you on this one. You find someone else who love your pet as much as you. I mean, your dog grabbing a toy when someone enters the house sounds really cute? And not at all like a bad behavior? I think you made the right choice, and the level of toxicity him and his friends are spewing after you rejected the ultimatum is very telling. Don't listen to those clowns. Of course they are talking shit. You didn't break the family up. He did that by giving you a very stupid ultimatum that cheapened your relationship. That's beside the fact that he tried to physically assault your dog and verbally abused him. I would not stay with a shitrag who abuses animals either. Your dog is way more important than a guy who would kick a dog. You made the right choice. You don't have to drop your BF's daughter. You just won't be her dad's girlfriend anymore. You didn't choose your dog over people. You chose yourself over emotional abuse. Your dog is just a part of that life. My wife's 35 female stress and complaints are really draining me, 35 male. The title sounds insensitive, but let me explain a little bit more in detail. Sorry for the long post. My wife complains a lot about her job and life, and it's draining me. For context, we've been married for 6 years and have a 17-month-old toddler with another kid on the way. She is a psychiatrist that works in an emergency unit with high acuity patients and has to commute an hour each way to work. Her job and the commute has been draining her a lot, and she vents when she comes home, and it's becoming too much for me. This was the case during all of her residency and fellowship, 5 years of training. Every day after work she vents for an hour about her day, lack of sleep, exhaustion, etc. I always felt bad and empathized as much as I could, but hoping that once her training was done things would be better since she gets to choose a job of her own. And she told me that she would pick a job that's slower and more family-friendly. Yet she chose a job in a hospital unit in a high acuity area. All of her colleagues were dumbfounded because they all thought it's insane and stressful to do that. I am also the homemaker, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, for my wife and kid. And I have a full-time job that I work remotely from home. This job pays pretty well and gives me good flexibility, which allows me to take care of the kid while working. But I'm just drained. From waking up in the morning, I have to prepare breakfast and lunch for my wife, breakfast for baby and feed him, jump on my morning meetings, put the baby to nap, back to work and watch baby. Wife comes home around 6 and showers while I feed the baby dinner and we put him down together. Around 7:30 p.m. she tells me what she would like for dinner and I scramble to make it. We sit down around 9 to eat, and the whole time she wants to talk about work and other stresses we have. I don't get a minute of quiet or relaxing time till 10 night and I'm tired by this point. I just can't live like this. I understand that taking care of a baby is stressful, but I'm actually finding it to be relatively easy and rewarding. But my wife's presence stresses me out. My mother has been staying with us to help out with the baby for a while, but even she's stressed out by my wife and feels bad for me that I am not getting a break. Mealtime prep has been a very sore point because I don't know what I'm making for her till 7 at night most nights, and it's just too much. She gets stressed being asked about what she wants for dinner while she's at work. She eats leftovers, but she constantly asks if I can make something because she craves something different each day. The thing that really prompted me to post this is for the past 2 days we've been house hunting and driving around town, and the whole time she's been frustrated and stressed, and it's all I'm hearing. I'm not invalidating her stress, it's real and not made up. But I don't know how much more can I take this. Sitting down to eat dinner with her is giving me anxiety that I don't enjoy my meals anymore. I mentioned this before a few times and she felt awful and feels like I just see her as a ball of misery. I don't want to make her feel bad by saying any of this, but how do I approach in a tactful way to help her understand? She tried counseling, but she didn't really find it that helpful. Pro tip. Meal plan for the week and do your grocery shop on the weekend and stop being a short order cook. You really should only have to cook maybe 4 days a week. And if she wants something else, she can make it herself. You're doing way too much. As for the rest, set a timer. Give her 10 minutes to vent and be done. That's just ridiculous. You're not her emotional support animal. If she's that miserable, she should do something about it. I realize some people just like to bitch, but she sounds really self-centered. I just tell her that moving forward, she gets 10 minutes. Your mental health is being impacted. You're not her therapist. She didn't find counseling very helpful because she's been using you as her counselor. Why would she need another? Christ, she's a psychiatrist. How TF does she not see what's so clearly written on the wall? Your post history indicates the last year's been strenuous on your relationship. I think y'all need couples counseling as well. I don't get why did you decide to have a second already, it will get so much more difficult. So sorry that you go through this. Get a babysitter, first of all. Working from home and caring for a toddler are incompatible. And while your wife sounds like she has a ton on her plate, you are not her therapist and shouldn't be expected to be the only person she downloads her day to. If you two aren't able to have a constructive conversation about it, it might be worthwhile to get a therapist's help. If you work remotely from home, why do you live an hour away from your wife's job? Move closer and give her 10 hours per week of her life back.